William Taylor, Vice President in the U.S. Institute of Peace. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, just by the way, from 2006 to 2009, is with us at Blitz Interview. Hello, Mr. Taylor. Thank you for joining us.
Henry, it's good to be here with you.
How do you know my name? We probably just talked, right? Right.
We did.
Okay. All right. Hello. Donald Trump and Ukraine. I personally see a structure between President Trump's actions in this regard. I stress out actions, not just words. And these actions are bringing cautious optimism in me. Strange it is, but still it is. It seems to me that Donald Trump can bring peace to Ukraine, and that peace could indeed be more or less just somewhat long-lasting. I hope so. Am I wishfully thinking here, or it could be so?
It could be so, Henry. I am also cautiously optimistic that certainly the things that have been said, I say have been said, that President Trump has said, that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said, that things that General Keith Kellogg, who is kind of the special envoy, has said. There are things that make me believe that there is a way forward toward some kind of a peace for Ukraine on Ukrainian terms. There are a lot of ways to get peace that are not on Ukrainian terms, but peace, a just and lasting peace on Ukrainian terms, I think is definitely possible coming out of this new administration.
Right. So, can you please talk us through briefly with that rare earth thing and minerals and possible deal with Trump's administration? Some say it is blessing, some say it is a trap and a curse. What would you say, Mr. Taylor, about all that mayhem?
So the conversation that President Zelenskyy actually started last fall, right, with his victory plan, had an element of natural resources, Ukrainian natural resources, that would be part of the victory plan. President Zelenskyy came to Washington and had conversations with then candidate Trump and with then President Biden about candidate Vice President Harris. So President Zelenskyy has been talking about this idea of rare earths, of uranium, of titanium. These are important minerals, many of which are deposits in Ukraine. Some in the occupied territories, but a whole lot not in the occupied territories. And this seems to be of interest to this new administration.
Indeed. But occupied territories, that's a separate topic of discussion. How do we get the territories back? But does Trump understand that about 30% roughly of rare earth minerals, more or less, and gas and oil rich lands are actually occupied by Russia? So what is Trump's administration is going to do about that? I mean, pardon me for interrupting you. So how to secure the investment? Because it's like $12 trillion or $10 trillion or $5 trillion is a lot of money. So if the deal is done, how to secure the deal if the land is occupied?
So I understand, you will understand, and others will understand this better than I, but I have been told by people who kind of know more than I do about this question, that roughly 40% of the rare earths, of the minerals, of the oil and gas, of the titanium, of the uranium, lithium, roughly 40% of those natural resources are under control of the Ukrainian government. Some 60%, as I understand it, are in occupied territories. So there are two things that could happen. One is Ukraine and President Zelenskyy and President Trump could talk about and make deals on, come to understandings about the 40% of $20 trillion. 40% of $20 trillion is a lot of money. The second option, of course, that President Trump could do with President Zelensky is to provide President Zelensky and Ukraine with the resources to take back some or all of the occupied territories. Those two options. But even the first option, where 40% of 20 or 30 trillion dollars, that goes a long way. That could form the basis of a deal that would continue military assistance from the United States to Ukraine, even accelerate military assistance to Ukraine.
Well, I actually would want to see the options that you just mentioned, the option number 1 and option number 2 combined. That would be a very nice outcome for Ukraine. But see what is happening. Again, Trump talking and Trump walking. Allow me to say it that way, two different personalities. I believe his team knows what he's doing. And if we are just not listening to some outrageous thing that he's saying, when he is actually Trump is acting, it somehow turns to good for America and for the partners in the end of all of that. So how Trump is doing in the United States? Are people also somewhat shocked with what's going on in the White House and around?
Sure. He's taking pretty dramatic steps. Some is talk and some is walk, as you've said. There are some steps that the new administration has taken, having to do, for example, with USAID.
Right.
Those seem to be real steps. On the other hand, there is a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion. Some of the conversation, some of the discussion is on Ukraine. I have the feeling that there is more to the conversations than meets the eye. That is, I have the sense that there are conversations going on between the Trump administration and the Zelensky administration that allow President Trump to make some of these statements that he's making now in terms of the rare minerals that we're talking, or the minerals that we were talking about earlier. I have the sense that there's some conversations going on leading to the possibility, as you and I talked about before, possibility of a just and lasting peace, of a ceasefire that can lead to a just and lasting peace on Ukrainian terms.
What can I add to that? Amen to that. And thank you so very much for your time and for your expertise. It was a lovely conversation. I would love to do it again sometime when you can.
I look forward to it, Henry.
Thank you so very much. Goodbye, Mr.
Thank you.
Taylor. Take care. Goodbye.